Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I wanted to make a video to show how to weld aluminum because it is tricky. It takes a little while to get the hang of it. So I've got a project right here I'm working on. This is off of my 6-seater golf cart. What I'm doing is I'm adjusting the seat so it goes back further. It's just too tight. You hop on there and you're squished up at the front, hugging that steering wheel, not comfortable. So I took this, as you can see, this is I cut this, I had the metal plate there, I cut that off, cut this off, and then I'm welding on a piece like this, which will make so the whole seat will go back like 3 inches, which will be awesome. So my favorite welding rods are Alumiweld rods from Harbor Freight. These work really well. They melt at a low temperature, really good tensile strength, and that's what I like to use. So the trick with aluminum, it's got to be really clean. I've got a stainless steel brush here. They say you can use brass as well to clean your aluminum, but you want to brush that and get that really clean. So when you weld with steel, you can just tack it and hold it in place and then weld all around it. With aluminum, that doesn't work because the whole thing's got to get hot and the whole thing's liquid, and so you've got to clamp it really well. And so some projects you do are really hard to clamp it and hold it till it cools down. So here I've got a self-tapping screw drilled through here to hold this in place while I heat it and weld it. You take this MAP gas and just start heating that thing up. You can see it's getting hot. The aluminum's starting to melt a little bit. Just thin parts on the aluminum are melting a little bit. See that melting into there? You got to rub it back and forth like this to get that oxidization out from underneath it still. You get a good solid weld. As you can see, that whole thing is sitting in a puddle of molten aluminum. And that's how you get a good, solid weld with aluminum. That'll hold up good. Some of my first ones would just fall right apart. If you don't get that oxidization rubbed out of there, it'll just come right apart. This side here turned out really nice. Look at that. That's beautiful. Real nice. Okay, and now I'll take it from here and put it on there and weld it. I have my piece here clamped down on steel. I've cleaned this piece of steel right where the weld's going to be. If you want, some people use ceramic to hold their aluminum projects in place because the ceramic won't get hot. Sometimes the ceramic works better. So when your welding rod starts getting shorter, clamp it in some vice grips or something to hold it. I have beveled these joints to get a better connection. This takes a while. This is why we're using the MAP gas. There we go. So I'm rubbing that in there. A hard time with this backside. The rest of it looks good. So I've actually got to let this cool and then flip the whole thing over and put the steel on this side so I can weld the bottom of this. So I took my grinder and ground this off really nice and smooth right here so we don't have a bump. So when I put this steel on there, it's nice and flat. The reason to put the steel on this side is because when I heat it, there's a good chance of all this getting hot and the whole thing coming apart again. All right, I've got this clamped up We're ready to weld this side. That's very important you clamp this. When I was welding this side, I didn't clamp it. And so when I went to do this side, I started welding this, the whole thing got hot, it came apart, and my piece just fell on the ground. So you definitely got to clamp it both sides. These are hard when you got to go around 4 sides. It's real tough. So I'm going to try to get most of the heat on the top. I'm hoping this metal will keep the bottom cool enough that joint will stay. And even if it does melt, it'll melt up against the steel there and it won't go anywhere. Quick brush down. Always get a fresh brush down before you start. This stuff oxidizes so fast. So you want to brush it right before you weld it. All right, safety glasses on. So I'm trying not to heat it as much as I did last time. What I'm saying is I'm trying not to heat the whole part. Mostly trying to just get the top hot. Work that oxidization out. That side is just not getting hot. There we go. Welding aluminum is tricky, especially with the torch, but that should be a good solid weld there. Gonna have definitely some grinding to do to smooth that out. Just gonna let it cool for a minute, probably like 15 minutes. Okay, I ground it down. Now I didn't grind it down all the way smooth because I want it to be strong, so I don't want to grind everything back off. I want to leave a little bit clumpy. Now I'm gonna paint this and put it on the golf cart. So this is our 6-seater golf cart that we've got 1200 watts of solar on the top. Gives us plenty of power to just cruise everywhere. Now the seat is all mounted on here. This is awesome. You can see my welds look good. That's my weld. This is the factory weld. It's pretty cool. Learning how to weld aluminum gives you a lot more options on projects you can do. Now watch this. I'm gonna hop up in here and look at that room. It's got me so much more room. That's comfortable. It's gonna be such a better ride now. Love it. So there's a little how-to on aluminum. This video is sponsored by me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you all in the next video.